right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Godversations with Kesha. Conversations with, about, and inspired by God. So today, y'all, I have a guest again, and she is none other than Kandi Harris. Kandi is a daughter, a sister, aunt, wife, mother, educator, and author. And while doing all of this, y'all, she has managed to garner over 30,000 followers on social media just being herself. Just being herself. And I can say that because I've known her a long time. So just being herself, people love her. They love her beautiful spirit, how kind she is. She does not gatekeep. She tells us about all her good bargain finds. She does all the things. She talks about her kids, her husband. I just love it. I love it. I've enjoyed watching you grow your platform and just blow up on social media. And I'm like, okay, I know her. Okay. So I'm so glad to have Kandi with us today. So Kandi, tell the people hello.
Hey everybody, I'm so excited to be with the songbird that I grew up to love and learn and listen to all of my childhood and adolescent years. So now I get to be all grown and be in your presence. I'm so excited.
Okay then. All right. Well, girl, I am so happy to have you here today. I'm glad that you decided to come on and talk to me because on this platform, that's what we do. We just talk about God. I talk to my friends and we kick it and we talk about the goodness of God. So yes, I'm glad you came today. First of all, I always start off by telling people how we knew each other. So we know each other rather. Candace's a little younger than I am, but we know each other from the Lord's Tabernacle Holiness Church.
Yes.
Memphis, Tennessee. Her mom is Peggy Macklin. I love her.
Super usher, baby. Super usher. Just hand me your gum. Give me your gum. Sit right here on this row and that one.
Right.
If you know, listen, Peggy gonna get you together in the service of the Lord.
Get you together, okay? But still be sweet. One of the sweetest people you ever want to be.
Yes, ma'am.
And she loved my daddy, and I love her for that.
Yes, she did, girl.
All right, so that's where we know each other from. So I got a chance to watch. Now, Kandi doesn't even know this, but she and Marcus are like one of my favorite couples ever. I love y'all because I remember when all of it was happening and y'all just met when y'all were some babies and y'all fell in love and y'all didn't ever fall out.
Right, coding in the church, holding hands at the youth shut-in. We weren't supposed to be, and yeah, here we are. So the people can't say nothing to us while we was holding hands.
That's why I love, one of the reasons that I love to watch your social media posts and things like that, because I've seen it all come into fruition. I saw the beginning of the love. I've seen everything that it produced. And so I love it. And I still, I'm 48. I'm still believing for the same thing for myself, baby. I ain't stopped.
Let us touch and agree.
Yeah. I ain't stopped yet. Okay. So I really enjoy your content. So
thank you.
One of the things that I always love to do on this show is I just love to hear people's stories.
Yeah.
I love to hear their stories. So I know some of it, but who is Kandi Harris?
That is a great question. And I'm glad you said you like to hear people's stories because formerly, before I became a school counselor, I was a history teacher. And I was just telling some students sitting in my office that I love to also hear people's stories. And one of the first assignments I would give my students back to school time was called History or Her Story. So they had to write, and it didn't have to be like an essay, but they had to write a story that pertained to their name. And that helped me get to know them before, all the school year began. I could put the story with the name, which made it stick more for me if I had background information on who they were, how their name came to be, what their parents, how they came up with the name and so forth. So with that being said, the story of Kandi Harris It's simple. It's just a girl from North Memphis, born and raised. Started off very humble in Hollywood. My parents were in the Hollywood, North Memphis area, and then we moved on up. I felt like the Jeffersons when we moved to the suburban area of Fraser. Then in the early '90s, I continued on childhood with my sister Jerica. A lot of folks know, local superstar in the city, Jerica Phillips, who is my best friend, but happens to be my sister as well. We grew up with our parents who did a beautiful job of raising us. Now that we're adults, we can look back and say that. Did I think she was strict then? Yes, ma'am. Yes, I did. And I wanted to fight tooth and nail the whole time, but she did a beautiful, her, my dad, a great job of raising us. Like you said, brought up in the Lord's tabernacle, that foundation will never be, that cannot be undone. And I'm forever grateful for it. Under the leadership of Bishop Philemon Turner and Mother Margaret.
Yes.
That is engraved in who I am and will
Girl,
forever.
all of us.
Yes.
All
like
of us.
the tabernacle babies, I say it all the time. I'm like, there will never be that type of upbringing and who we became, regardless of the different paths that we all took. We all can literally just sit and have and resonate with the stories and the memories and the upbringing and the faith that we learned and all of that. But Sister Peggy didn't play no games. Along the way into the adolescent years, like you said, I met Marcus Harris, which we knew each other our whole lives, but we didn't take notice of each other until the teen years hit. He was liking on me. I wasn't studying him, but our friend group was the same. The youth choir brought us together. Amen.
Come on, choir.
And he didn't even sing. He was just there being a mascot. But all of that, fast forward, we got married in 2008. So we call ourselves high school sweethearts, but more church sweethearts because we didn't go to the same high school. So in 2008, after college, he went one way, I went the other because Peggy said, "You're not following that boy. And if it's meant to be, it will be." And again, like all mamas, she was right. She was right. So in 2008, after we had finished college, we got married. And then in 2011, we welcomed our first child. And that's when the journey really began because I said I wasn't going to have any children. But I feel like the Lord laughed and said, "Girl, you playing in my face, trying to tell me what you're going to do." And Mark was born in 2011. Cadence was born in 2012. Miles was born in 2013. So 3 children in 3 years. And life started life and real big at that time. And that's why, mom life literally turned into the thing that I call like my ministry. The fact that I thought I was going to tell God, or at least life, my plan was that I wasn't going to be a mom. I always knew I wanted to be a wife. That was cool. I like that part. I love. I saw your post the other day about Christmas and all the movies. Loving, love that. I knew I wanted to be a wife, but I was like, no, I probably don't want to be nobody's mama. They look like they need too much. It's too much going on. They cost too much. All the things. So I said, self, I'm good with no children. But God saw different. And with him having a different plan for my life, I feel like he uses motherhood as my discipleship. And that is a way that I can connect to other women in any area of my life, because motherhood can be anywhere, whether I'm at work, whether I'm in the grocery store, whether I'm calling myself working out. I won't say the gym because I ain't at the gym. But wherever I am, I feel like that is what a part of my purpose is. When God said, "I'm going to give you these 3 children and the journey that you will go through, I will use you as a vessel in order to reach another mom who may be struggling and challenging," because I truly struggled to the point where I was afraid to say things out loud. And that's where my platform came from, because I know that there are harsh judgments when it comes to women in general, but especially mothers, where people think you should love your pregnancy. It was butterflies and rainbows and Skittles, and you shouldn't want to drop your baby off at the babysitter after your maternity leave. Baby, I was ready to go. I was like, bye, baby. And so it felt like I was by myself in what I was experiencing in my journey. And so I thought, okay, well, when I would type something on Facebook, people would laugh and say, "Ooh, girl, me too." And the next thing I knew, by the time I finished just sharing, being authentically the thoughts and feelings I was having, I was like, oh, it's not just me. And so I began to just share that even more. And like you said, just being me. Because at first I called myself going to try to mimic some of the social media influencers that we see and that we follow. And it wasn't working.
That's too hard, girl.
It was not working. And when I finally realized, Candy, just be Candy.
Candy, yeah.
And then
people love candy.
And it is true, because I'm still baffled at how 30,000 people landed in one spot.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But so I love what you're saying about just resonating with so many mothers, because like you said, you always feel like it's just me.
Right.
And it's so many mothers out there that probably feel the exact same way. Like, should I really feel this way about my child? Or should I feel like my child is a burden at this moment? Not saying you feel like they're a burden all as a whole, but you have moments because you're adjusting to a whole new way of life. When you become a mother, you're adjusting to a whole new way of life. It's a huge transition. Transitions are not easy.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and so I'm sure that's why so many people were able to resonate with you. And I want you to also talk about your book, the book that you wrote as well.
Yeah, so and that is exactly like you said. When I wrote the book, it really was beginning with me jotting down just my feelings, with a counseling background, and also just loving to write in general. I was the little girl with a diary. And so before journaling became this thing that everybody wants to do and it's a part of self-care, I'd been doing that since I was little. And so I was already journaling my thoughts and feelings because, again, how I dare not say it out loud and people think that I didn't genuinely and truly love my children. But from that, I truly believe God said, I was sitting in my room and I was writing all this stuff out. And it felt clear as day that you should share it with other people. And I was like, that don't sound good, because that's too much. That's too much vulnerability of people actually knowing my authentic feelings of my motherhood journey. And then I spoke with some friends who I think that's a huge component of any person in general, having a friend group who truly love you, who will pray with you, who will speak life into you, and who will tell you, no, that's not it. And they were like, yeah, you need to go and write the book, ma'am. And so that was almost the confirmation to what I had already felt. And they were on and the friends, it's the Rolf sisters. The Rolf sisters be on my head when I'm moving slow to do anything, but I use them, and I even mentioned them in my book as a sounding board, because I know, one, they have the exact same foundation that I was raised with, and two, they have my best interest at heart. So to hear them say, yeah, do it, that just gave confirmation. So I wrote the book. It was just the story at first, chapter after chapter, of just going step by step from the idea that I said I wasn't having a baby to the compromise with my husband, to them coming so fast, to nursing and all of this. But all of it happened so fast. You know how we say, wait a minute, wait a minute. And then that's when the title came. Wait a minute, God, motherhood ain't for me. And so and to hear you laugh, I knew that it would be comical and catching to say, wait a minute, what's going on? And that is the gist of the book. Every chapter is like, wait a minute, because I wasn't ready for part of it. But yet God showed up and gave me everything I didn't think that I even had as it relates to being nurturing and being a mom and knowing what I'm doing. I can't even comb hair. And here come God giving me a little girl. So all of that along the is in the book just to share exactly what I was feeling, what my thoughts were, and to put it out there with others. And then here we are, Mom-Versations 901.
Mm-hmm. So Mom-Versations 901 is the organization that you have in Memphis, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Mom-Versations, it's funny how it all just continued to build. From Facebook, I'm just making funny posts, share myself. From the funny post, then you need to write a book. From the book, then friends and family who are supporting me are like, girl, let's do like a book club and talk about each chapter. And I was like, okay, if y'all want to, cool. So we started meeting up, and then that began to grow. And so now Mom-Versations 901, not only do we meet up to talk about all things in our motherhood journeys, and it's for all moms, because what I found to be a challenge when mine were younger is that a lot of support groups are for moms with babies and toddlers, but then it just trickles off and leave the mamas on their own by the time it's school age, middle school, high school, college. That's still a part of the journey. We never get rid of it. And then the moms who are now empty nesting and who are like, you have adults. And so we are a group of a collective of every season, and we get to learn from one another, encourage one another. If my mom shows up, she can give us wisdom that we don't even know or could at least look forward to. Mm-hmm. Or for the moms who are just having babies, even though I consider myself a young mama, I can still say, okay, been there, done that. And then we talk. So that's the Mom-Versations part. But now we meet just to do like fellowship. So we just had like a bonfire not too long ago, this past weekend, just meetups in the park, picnic, just to get together and give ourselves a moment to be moms without the children on our hips or needing us or whatever. So that's how that group, Mom-Versations 901.
Okay. So now I'm thinking of everything that you just said and how we started this off with, I didn't want to be a mother. And I was actually talking to someone today, and the thought came to my mind that God doesn't give us what we don't want, right, but He does give us things that we don't think we want.
Exactly. Exactly.
And we find out that we did want it, because how much purpose have you found in this? The book came from motherhood. The yes. organization came from motherhood.
Yes.
Right? And yep. now we have a growing audience that are here because they want to hear you talk about motherhood and
right.
and being a counselor, being an educator, right?
Right.
So, that's just awesome. That's awesome to me how God works.
It is. And not only how He works, I often say, and that was a chapter, that God has a sense of humor. Mm-hmm. Because it's always like, who you talking to?
Who you talking to? You gonna do what I said you gonna do. Like, watch. You said you weren't gonna do this, but watch this.
Exactly. and then it's not until and it's almost like, as women, we have our monthly. And I tell my husband and my daughter now that she's experiencing that. I said, I've been doing this since I was in the 6th grade, but it catches me every month where I'd be like, oh, that's why I was feeling some type of way. Like, I haven't been doing this for years. And I feel like even with God, and I've been born and raised into this faith and know how He works, mm-hmm. I still have these moments where I'm be like, oh, that's why.
That's what you're doing. Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you should know this, but it's not until He does His will that I wake up and realize, like, oh, okay, yeah, you was right. It should have went this way, even though I thought, making this left or eliminating this particular part out of my story would work better. Okay, it makes sense. Got it.
All right. So we've talked a lot about, the past and how you've come to where you are. But I would love to dig a little deeper into the whole social media piece.
Okay.
The question is this something that you saw for yourself? Is this something that you were like, I would love to get into content creation? Or was that something you were planning to do? Or is that something that you just all of a sudden one day was like, hey, I think this is something that I should do, or
Yeah, it literally fell in my lap. So before social media content creating was a thing, like I said, when I got on Facebook, I was still in college. It was brand new and it was only open to college students. You had to have a college email address to be on Facebook. We had just finished MySpace. So I was just learning, doing things on Facebook. And then again, it wasn't, and I was on there looking and posting every now and again, but it wasn't truly until I had the kids that I started just making random posts. And then people were like, girl, you so funny. Like, you crazy. You need to have this blog. And that's when YouTube started to come about. So I started thinking about it, but I was like, that sounds like too much work. I got too many kids. I'm not going to be doing all of that. I can't edit. I can't do any of that. But back to the piece of just be yourself. So COVID then hits. And when COVID hit, we're all sitting at the house doing what? Nothing, trying to figure out what to do. And so I was like, okay, let me start this platform. So I went from my personal page to start a whole nother page. And when I started that page, it was slow and steady. Nothing was happening, but I was consistent. I again, like I said, I was trying to mimic other social media influencers that I was following at the time. And it wasn't working. And that's when I just kind of stripped the whole thing and was like, just go back to the basics and just do you. And from there, that was from 2020. And then I didn't hit like a major following. Again, it just fell in my lap until about 2024, 23, 24, and then 25, I had an uptick as well. And that was because of a dog in a video.
I remember that.
And we don't even have the dog. And I was
So
like,
okay, so let's go back because this is something I want to kind of tap into because we have so many content creators out there. That's the thing to do now.
yeah.
I remember when I want to say you met Tabatha Brown or she commented on one of your posts or something like that. And I remember when that happened, I was like, Candy better take advantage of this moment. And you did. And you did. So is that when you saw your following growing the first time or was it before then?
Yes, your memory is so much better than mine. I forgot. So 2020 started it. We went back to school. 2021, we were back at school and doing the mask and hybrid learning or whatever. And I was dancing in my classroom and tagged Tabatha and she commented. That was, you are absolutely right.
I remember she said something. I just couldn't remember what it was.
Yes, and that was the first. I remember running to my mama's house and was like, girl, Tabatha commented on my. And then everybody else who followed her saw me and was like, oh, she's funny, she's this, and blah, blah, blah. And that was the first uptick of the following.
So I remember, because I was following you at the time. So when I saw them, I was like, ooh.
Yes.
I said, Candy, you better take advantage of this moment, girl. Because all eyes was on Tabatha at that time. All eyes were on her. So I was like, I said, that's gonna bring a lot of people to her page.
Yeah, that was the first uptick. And it happens again with content creating. I feel like I'm not a content creator. I'm just like I just here.
Turning the camera on.
In front of, I'm turning the camera on, literally just sharing. And here's what I've told people before. They're like, girl, why do you keep doing it? And I'm like, I really, really want it in full transparency. Not to say that what I have and what we do in my home and my family is perfect, but I really wanted others to see that marriages are happy and healthy. I want others to see that there are family units. We had the Cosby Show. And so to me, I feel like I want to take on that and be the reality, since we have so much reality TV and social media, and be the reality where folks say, no, there are family units that actually are healthy, that are working. And again, specifically to Black families, because a lot of times we don't see that with divorces and things. And again, not that we're perfect, because I could punch him in his face right now, right? And my kids get on my last nerve, and we have ups and downs. And I mean, that's over 20 something years. I could tell tons of stories of things that are not perfect, but yet we're still here, and God still has his hands on us. And in the midst of the ups and downs, I like to share that. And so again, I don't think
does not mean that it's not healthy. It doesn't mean, it just means that you're human.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So not a content creator, just Candy in front of the camera.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But so many people resonate with it. So many people resonate with it. I mean, even me not being a mom, I love to watch because it's comical. It's just, it's funny.
Well, and what's funny is I don't even be trying to be funny. Mm-hmm. And then to your point, the first uptick, the second uptick, what I didn't realize was going to be an uptick was the outfits of the day. I'm like, I'm not even saying nothing. And I realized the following started picking up and comments and shares. And I'm like, they want to see these outfits from the Goodwill?
Girl, they want to see those good old outfits come from the Goodwill. Okay.
But it's amazing
because cute from the Goodwill. So they like, let me see how I can do this. Let me put some together too.
Right? Yeah, and I appreciate it, because I also, even though I'm in front of the camera, I search for folks that look like me, who have body shapes like me, and I'm looking for other people who shop at the Goodwill to get ideas and inspiration. So I understand it. It just still baffles me that I'm in the mix.
I really understand what you're saying, because like even with vlogging, like I love to watch like vlogs and stuff like that as well, like on YouTube and things like that, because I don't know, it's like it's something interesting about watching people just do life.
That's
do regular stuff. Go to the grocery store. I was doing a little vlogging at one point on YouTube, and one of my friends said, "Hey, I want to see my grocery house again." Like, good, you probably the only somebody watching them grocery house. She was like, I want to see them. Like, but people just like to see people doing life, and I enjoy it. Like, in certain things that I buy now that I didn't used to buy because somebody tried it out and they really like it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try that too. You know, exactly. So I think I watch probably YouTube more than I watch TV now.
You and me both. And I'm gonna tell you a secret. My favorite is van life. My whole family talk about me so bad.
Real? But the person that live in their van.
The people that live in their van, they haul their vans, they go out in nature, they're not attached to the world in any way. I said, I think that's gonna be me when I retire. So I am like looking at them people and how they doing it.
But yeah, people just really resonate with everyday life, just everyday life. And it is, looking back 10 years ago, we would never think. We would never think that this would be a lucrative career for some. You know what I'm saying? Like, all I do is get up every day and turn my camera on.
And turn the camera on. And Kesha, look, and then when that following got up, the people send me a check, and I couldn't understand. I said, what y'all doing? Like, for real? Now, and I haven't now, listen, I'm grateful for whatever coins they send me, but it still baffles me that this could, for real, like, it's a little side hustle. That's a little extra change that comes my way. Now, could I be more consistent, and could I do a lot more editing and do all the fancy stuff? What's our boy named Chase? Chase is really good with his editing and all of the things. I want to get fancy like that, but I don't have the time. I just do not have the time. So I don't make what we know some other influencers and things make. But at the same time, I'm still grateful that, because I was doing this for free anyway. I was just saying, hey. And then Facebook was like, okay, you have so many followers, you are now approved to do blah, blah. And I said, well, look at them. And that dog video did it, girl.
I know the dog video did it. Now, how many views did that video have? Well, for the people who may not follow her on social media, on Facebook, she is Candy E. Harris. Is that
Yep.
correct? So y'all follow her on Facebook. So she had a video a few months back, Christmas time? Christmas time, where you allow your daughter to adopt a dog, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the people had something to say about that, girl.
Oh, they were upset.
People had something to say.
They were so mad. So it was 1 point something million views and so many shares. I was like, what is happening? But what it did was it took a turn because people were angry. We allowed her to foster, and they thought that was bad parenting, as far as her emotional, if she would be traumatized because the dog would have to be returned. And just as social media is, and it has taught me to also grow thick skin, that people can be keyboard gangsters at the house. They don't even know you. They see a 30-minute clip or a 10-second clip, and they come up with their own conclusion. However, as I was beginning to get discouraged because I didn't want my family to be in this dark light. And then they started saying something about my husband, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take it down. And Marcus was like, no, you're not. The more they comment.
Come on, Marcus. I know that's right. Come on, Mark.
So from that, I even learned, like, okay, if you're going to be on here, you're going to have to be a big girl. And take the good with the bad, and that's a part of the social media world that's not my favorite. But at the same time, if I just tap into the more they comment, that's more engagement. And then I just try to keep an eye out. Since I run my own account, I know those who have gotten bigger may not run theirs, but I just try to keep an eye out for things that are just super ugly. I don't mind you disagreeing with me or saying something, that may not look like what your family looks like. But if they're just nasty and ugly, then I just go and delete and block people from that.
Right. And totally understand that, because I know that that's got to be difficult to get used to.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, like you said, that's the downside of social media, because you do this because you will be able to reach so many people and maybe encourage them or help them. But you're also reaching people who are looking to discourage you, discourage you, or find some type of fault or have something to say, and the trolls and all those things.
Absolutely.
Comes along with it. So I know that that's difficult to get, because, we don't play about our people now.
Right. Well, and I don't play by my faith either. Yes. And people just come. They just come to say anything. And even when I'm like, I've made it known that I'm a believer and God is who is the head of my life and all of that. It's folks be in my inbox still. And it is not even those who don't believe. It's folks that want to correct and tell me the scripture was wrong, or tell me, the way that I delivered it may not hit right. You just have so many people who have something to say.
and have so many opinions and things like that. But I just want to say, we need more positive content out there. And that's one thing that I do love about social media and even YouTube, is that nobody has to approve it. You can put out there what you want to put out there. What you want to put out into the world is what you can put out to the world. Yep. And I really enjoy watching you and following you on social media, because it's fun. It's joy. It's sweetness. It's kindness. It's giving. It's all the things. You know what I'm saying? Because you already know, girl, the world we living in right now. So,
right. Exactly.
So we need those bright spots. We need those people. I am trying my best to curate my social media in a way to where I'm only getting inspirational things. I'm only getting, joy and peace and inspiration and Jesus. And
yes.
That's why that's how I'm trying to curate my social media and my followings, because that's what I need. I don't need all the rest. I don't need let's talk about this person and let's run this person down, and I don't want that in my life.
Yep. And you're doing a beautiful job. When I saw you start making your videos, and I think I commented on a couple, I'm like, look at her, she's doing it.
Well, girl, you know that was the Lord, because I don't do stuff like this.
See? And it goes right back to the stuff we think we not gonna do.
Gonna do for real. People have been telling me that for a minute. They were like, I think you should have a YouTube channel. I think you should do this. And I was like, that's not me. I mean, and that was the end of the conversation.
Mm-hmm. And yet here you are.
And yet here I am, girl. And then I'm learn stuff. I don't want to learn nothing else.
I know. I know.
Have to learn how to edit these videos and all that stuff. I'm like, who would have thought? Not me. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So now we have this influence. We have, and so you do most of your content on Facebook, right?
Yes.
Are you trying to grow other platforms, Instagram, TikTok, any of that, or?
I'm too lazy, if I'm being completely honest. And I have every last one of those platforms. I do have a YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. I do have TikTok. Mm-hmm. TikTok is only because I learned how to edit easier on TikTok than I did on other platforms. Instagram only because my sister and all the younger folks keep saying that's the place to be, because Facebook is for the seasoned saints. But Facebook is what I know and where I began, and I'm gonna stick to what I know.
What I understand, Facebook is one of the best platforms to do content. From what I hear.
Well, they the ones that sending me the check, so I'm gonna stay right on over there.
Okay.
But I'm on the other ones, TikTok, just so I can dance with my daughter and do some fun stuff. Mm-hmm. YouTube, honestly, that is growing, which is funny because all I'm doing is dumping videos that I've already made for Facebook because I'm running out of space and gallery and memory. I dump it over on YouTube just to get it out of my phone, and people are commenting and I'm like, okay, they don't even know I'm not gonna be over here.
So you have all the other platforms. You just don't. So I'm going to ask, however many people get to see this video, y'all go follow her on those other platforms as well. So if y'all go follow her over there, she'll go and start putting some content out so she can have some different streams of income. Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be your manager for a minute.
I see that. I'm like this. Okay, you're gonna work me anyway. All right.
I'm going over there and follow her so she can say, I guess I need to put some out here for these things.
Yes.
All right. So we've made it this far. So we talked about your past. We talked about where we are. What is God saying about Kandi Harris's future? Where do you feel like? Where do you see this going? What are your goals, visions for the future?
Oh, that question I was dreading. Because if I'm being completely honest, because I have gotten out of my whole life. I've been a planner, and because I've learned over the years that my plan is not like I can put it in place, but God's plan usually takes over. And so what that looks like, I have no idea. I'm in a season right now where motherhood is like the bulk of my life. It's not my entire life, obviously, but I think right now I almost can't see past it because I'm so engulfed in nurturing these 3 humans that God has trusted Marcus and I with, that I'm now like, okay, what does the future look like? I'm not sure, because yes, I'm a school counselor, but does that mean that's where I'll be in the next 7 years? Yes, I'm on social media. Does that mean that's where I'll be? I don't know, and I don't know how to answer that. But what I can say is I trust God in whatever that may look like. And without me knowing exactly the plan, I'm trusting that if I do what I'm supposed to do on my end and listen and meet him and read the word, that then he will give me what that will look like. But for now, I'm just doing day-to-day present life.
And that's real. And that's real for a whole lot of us. Like, there might be certain things that I might, feel like, well, I could do this, or I will do this, or I want to do this. But even I totally understand where you are, because I'm right there in my own life right now. There is there are things right now that I'm moving towards that I never thought that I would.
Mm.
Never thought that I would. If you had asked me probably this time last year, Kesha, do you think you're gonna do a podcast on YouTube? I'd be like, mm-mm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Is like whatever our plans are, they're submitted to God anyway.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. I totally understand. I think somebody asked me something similar, like for the new year, like, what are your goals for the new year? And I was like, I don't have any.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have any because the bottom line is it's whatever God says.
Exactly.
It's whatever He
I'm
says.
so
And
glad
sometimes you have a view of what that might be, and sometimes you don't.
Exactly. I'm so glad you understand, because I was like, I don't know if I got a good answer for this one, because I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out here just riding it. Like I was telling a coworker the other day, even at the current school that I'm in, I was like, he was like, you gonna retire with me. We're gonna get out of here together. We're gonna do the I said, oh, I can't make you that promise, sir. I don't know if the Lord say the same. You know how mamas and aunties, everybody, if the Lord
If the
say
Lord
the
says
same.
the same, yeah.
I said, but I love that idea, that thought that you said that. But that's cute.
How many years do you have in now in education?
You said what? How many years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is year 19.
Okay. All right. So a teacher for how many years?
I was in the classroom for 16.
Okay.
15. Classroom for 15, swapped over to school counseling year 15. 16. Yep, that was the sweet 16 year.
Okay. So I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because educators a lot of times don't get, of course, the recognition that they should get. They don't get, people don't really understand the magnitude of what educators do on a
Mm-hmm.
day-to-day basis. They don't understand the emotional and mental toll and physical toll that being an educator takes on you. So my question to you is, how do you feel like, as an educator, how do you feel like God leads you in how to deal with the students and how to deal with the day-to-day of that? Because I know that you're a school counselor. I was a school counselor as well. So I know what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that there was a whole lot of situations that I was in where God had to speak to me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Like literally is nothing but a God thing. A lot of times parents and students, and they'll come back and they will actually give accolades and tell me how good I am in my job, and they're thankful for me, and they're like, we don't know how you do it. And my answer is just that, it's just Jesus. Because before, and it sounds cliche, but literally, like today, I had a phone call that was going to be a tough phone call of calling some parents. And I literally, with my hand on the phone, stopped and prayed, because I'm like, I don't know how to say, no book, no degree, nothing could prepare me for moments where I need to have a heart and empathy with a parent who's about to hear tough news, or when a student comes to me with hard things that they're dealing with at home. Again, no degree and no certificate prepares you for the actual reality of that. And so the God in me, which is why I think it's so important for those of us who do believe, to equip yourself so that you can be ready in those moments. Mm-hmm. They say, stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Right.
And that means, for me, it's like constant prayer. And it's not like the way we was raised, laying out on the altar type of prayer. It's literally, I could be on the phone, God, I'm gonna need you got to be my words. Mm-hmm. And then I make the phone call. Or if I'm walking into a classroom where I know something's about to go down, or the topic of social emotional learning is a little bit controversial, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna need you to help me so I don't get me in trouble or these children. It's literally just acknowledging him in every moment. Mm-hmm. And that's prayer in the morning. That is, I can do better at reading the word. I'm not even gonna lie to you with that one. But one thing for sure, and two things for certain, as my daddy would say, I do know what prayer it can do. And it's the only way that I have been able to do 19 years of education and dealing with people. Because serving people, no matter the capacity, whether it's education or being in, a nurse or those who work with people, that alone takes an act of God, I believe, because humans are hard.
Ministry. All of it is ministry. And it does take, like you said, humans are hard. They are.
They're hard. Everybody has different opinions. Everybody's upbringing is different. Everybody, folks don't know how to talk. We don't have emotional intelligence. We don't know how to resolve conflict well. And so to be a person who can sit in the midst of that, it's not me. It's Jesus. It's not my degrees. None of that. Is just him. So to answer your question, the way that I've made it through these 19 years is through prayer and seeking him the best way I know how in those moments that I have had to just be like, this all you right here. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this.
Yeah. I mean, and it because even I know as a school counselor, students in this world is way different than it was when we were in school. Just way different. And the things that they have to deal with and the things that they come to you with, I can just remember being in some of those situations where a student came in and sometimes they can't even articulate what they're feeling. They don't even know. So it's like there have been moments where I know God had to give me what was going on with that child because I didn't know and they didn't know how to articulate what was going on. And there were moments when I know that God gave me the discernment to know and to ask the right questions and things like that. And people don't realize that as educators, it is ministry. It's ministry. And if you really want to be effective in what you're doing, you got to have a source that's higher than you.
Yes.
Tap into to be able to be effective in those people's lives.
Absolutely. To be effective and to withstand it, to be in it for any amount of time, that has to be where you are grounded and rooted in your faith, because education is not for the weak.
It's not at all.
But I'm grateful. It's been rewarding. I love, if anybody who knows me and knows me well, I love what I do and I love my students and I love to have a good time. Now I like them older. I'm going to tell you that. I like them older. That's why I'm in a high school and I have the 11th and 12th graders. But I really, really do love what I do. No matter what school I land in, whether it's public, private, whether it's all, co-ed or single sex, I love young people. And I hate saying young people because I feel like I'm still 16, 17. But they keep telling me, Auntie, you and your
younger people. Younger.
Younger people.
Younger people. Well, Candy, thank you so much for being with me. I've enjoyed this conversation. And I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. I really enjoy watching. I love people's stories, but I'm a dreamer myself. So when I see people's dreams being realized, like even when you posted, I think that you met Tabatha Brown and you were crying. And I was just like,
I was cutting up, right? I know.
For her because I think that this world can be so heavy sometimes and people can just be so negative and things, but it's like I'm like, child, I love to see people's eyes light up about the thing that they wanted to do or the thing that they liked, or I couldn't do this before but I can do this now, and I love to see that. So I am so proud of you and I am just really enjoying watching your glow up.
Oh, thank you, friend. Not you got me blushing over here. Listen, same for you. Thank you for thinking of me and inviting me to be on your platform. Listen, this is it. A whole podcast. I cannot wait.
Well, thank you for being here. I'm going to make sure that I put all of your social media and all of that stuff in the description box.
Okay.
And, your book is available Amazon?
It's on Amazon, yes. And if those who are audio book listeners, I'm also on iTunes and what's the popular one? Audible.
Audible, okay,
Yep.
and iTunes.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'll make sure that I link all of that in the description below. Hi, everybody. I really enjoyed my interview with Candy Harris. So, you all know that at the end of each episode, I just like to tie our conversation up with a biblical bow. So, my biblical bow today will be Proverbs 16 and 9. And it says, "A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps." We heard Candy talk about how she didn't even think she wanted to be a mother. That's not something that she had a desire for, right? But in yielding herself to God, yielding herself to God's plan, she has discovered a whole new destiny, a whole new world, a whole new purpose in life. First, being a mother, and then encouraging, helping to build, and creating community for other mothers. So I want to encourage you today, whatever your desires are, and there's nothing wrong with us having our own desires and our own plans. Nothing wrong with that, goals and dreams. I'm a living witness that some of the dreams and goals that I have, God is bringing them to pass in my life, has brought some of them to pass, and is continuing to bring others to pass. But I will say that in yielding myself to God's will, in yielding myself to his will, I have discovered new things that I love. I love doing this podcast. Never thought that there was something that I would ever do, but I enjoy doing it. And that was by the direction of God. I was kicking and screaming at first because this is just not my thing, right? But I'm doing it and I'm realizing that I enjoy it. There's another scripture that says, "Delight yourself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart." And I think a lot of times we take that as whatever we want, he'll give it to us. But no, when you yield yourself and you delight yourself in the Lord, then he will place in you the desires that are needed to bring forth the purpose and fulfillment that comes with purpose that only God can give you. So that's my biblical bow for today. A man's heart plans his way, but God directs his steps. I hope you enjoyed the episode today. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next episode. Much love and many blessings. Bye-bye.